the next 24 hours, you will learn about the streets, about the choices that will force a dedicated cop over the edge, all in the name of good. In the next 24 hours, the only thing more dangerous than the line being crossed.
Today's a training day, Officer Hoyt. It's your chance to give you a little taste of reality. You think you can handle it?
Is the cop who has crossed it.
I will do anything you want me to do.
Will you? Let's see. If I was a dealer, you'd be dead by now. They build jails because of me. Judges have handed out over 15,000 man-years of incarceration time based on my investigations. You got today, and today only, to show me who and what you're made of. You hear me? That's it. That's what I'm talking about. First day on the job, you hit a $3 million seizure.
Police officer! Get away from the girl!
No. We're not racking up arrests today.
You let him go.
What more you want?
I want justice, right?
Is that not justice?
That's street justice.
What's wrong with street justice?
Oh, what? Just let the animals wipe themselves out.
God willing.
You can't be like this.
Open your eyes. Can't you see? Police, we got a search warrant.
You ain't no police. They're these fools. Go dead.
And I didn't sign up for this.
You think I'm crazy, right? We communicate and talk to me. Say it. Say it.
I think you're a road cop.
Learned a lot of things on these streets, boy. Good things and bad things, too. There's some profoundly evil people walking the streets freely right now.
I'm the police. King Kong ain't got nothing on me.
You never know. That's the point. It's gonna have to be a nice day, huh? It'll get darker. Guarantee you that.
Welcome back to Reels, Booze, and Bros. If this is your first time tuning in, I encourage you to subscribe to the show so you can hear all the fun episodes we have created and for future shows coming up. That's right, future shows. For everyone else, if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and whatever listening platform that you listen to. It helps us know what you like and want so we can bring better content to you. Lastly, check out our brand new website. Actually, it's not so brand new, the fact that it's been up there for a bit. So check out our website, reelsboozebros.com. You can find all of our social media there, links, and some more great content that goes along with the show. Now, on to the actual show. Reels, Booze, and Bros. Gentlemen, I'm your host, obviously Jay. That's me, your host. And we got Brian. Brian's now back. And unfortunately, Nick could not make it again for this episode. We have our super fan, Kev, here. That's right. He's a real bro. Brian dropped his phone. That's the noise in the background. I'll try to edit that out later. So Kev's back. Brian was on vacation. We tried to do it last week with Nick, but we had a huge snowstorm going on. And as you can tell by coming up my driveway, I haven't done anything. Guys, gentlemen, welcome back. Our last episode was Zombieland, and today we're bringing you Training Day. How excited are we?
Early 2000s. What?
2001, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
actually,
so.
this is probably one of the last movies that I saw in a movie theater for the longest time, because I think right around when this movie came out, everyone started just burning DVDs, basically. So that was basically the way I started to see movies after that.
That's right.
But no, I did see this.
Before streaming came available?
Yeah, before streaming came available. So yes, Training Day, starring Denzel Washington. This is the one that we will be starting the actor trilogy. So we're very excited to bring this to you. So the next two movies will be Denzel Washington. We'll let you know which movie we're going to do next after that. But, let's get into Training Day. Let's pause up for a moment. We're going to go into the booze. Brian, you brought this booze along with us. It's called Torque Wrench, and it's an 8.2.
It don't taste like an 8.2, as we were just discussing pre-recording. Yeah, this beer is pretty nice. It doesn't really give you much of like a description of it. It's a double IPA. Like you said, it's an 8.2%. It says sticky and tropical juice.
And I don't know what a sticky IPA is supposed to taste like.
Yeah,
the tropical part I kind of get. But.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what sort of flavors is in it to make it the tropical, but I'm not like one distinct flavor. But it's good. I like it. And like I said, you would never guess it's an 8.2 because I feel like I could drink these and be like, okay,
Yeah, it's definitely a little
I'll
bit
do a
stronger.
4-pack.
It's definitely a little bit stronger than what we had last week because that was an IPA also. This does taste more like an IPA than the Zombieland beers that we had. But yeah, 8.2. It still doesn't taste that strong.
Oh yeah, that Zombieland beer last week, man, that
The
went
zombie
down.
dust.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, that was a nice one.
Yeah, we brought
Smooth.
that to the next one after. So this Industrial Arts Brewing Company is who the Torque Wrench is by. I've never heard of them before. I don't think they're local, but
I don't think so either.
I'd have to look exactly of where they would be at. Yeah, I agree with both Brian and Kev. This thing, so New York. Okay,
New
so
York,
that's local enough for us. Torque Wrench 8.2 Industrial Arts Brewing Company. I like it. Sticky and tropical. This is definitely on the list to buy and continue drinking. All right, gentlemen, let's get it on. Back to Training Day. So, we'll start off first, a little background on the movie. So, Training Day is a 2001 American crime thriller film directed by Antoine Fuqua and written by David Ayer. David Ayer. It stars Denzel Washington as Alonzo Harris and Ethan Hawke as Jake Hoyt. Two LAPD or narcotics officers over a 12-hour period in the gang-ridden neighborhoods of Westlake, Echo Park, and South Central Los Angeles. Also stars Scott Glenn, Cliff Curtis, Dr. Dre, and Snoop Dogg in supporting roles. Training Day was released on October 5th, 2001 by Warner Bros. Pictures. It received positive reviews from critics who praised Washington and Hawke's performances but were divided on the screenplay. Was commercial success, grossing $104 million worldwide against a production budget of $45 million. Wow, look at that, $45 million, and almost tripled it. Very nice. The film received numerous accolades. Hang on, Brian, you want to jump in here? So it received numerous accolades and nominations, with Washington's performance earning him the Academy Award for Best Actor and Hawke not being nominated for Best Supporting Actor at the 74th Academy Awards. I know Kev is pretty big on the Academy Awards. I'm pretty sure he knows all about that and jumped in. All right, Brian, what you got? You're jumping in over here to the mic, ready to say something.
No, the only thing I was going to say is probably most of that budget is there's no real special effects. It's just got to be like paying the actors.
Yeah, that's the first thing. When he actually said $45 million, I was like, I can't believe it actually cost that much.
Yeah,
it's got to be all the salaries for everyone that they had to get.
So you think Denzel Washington's like $16 million?
I don't know about 16 back then. It was at least 10 though. At
least
got
10.
up there.
Probably up there.
Well,
Ethan Hawke is up there too.
You think
Ethan Hawke had been a multiple time nominated for Oscars as well, so his salary was probably up there also, I'm sure.
Really?
Those two were probably half the budget right there.
I think, and I know it wasn't his first film, but I know it's one of Fuqua's first movies, maybe like his third or fourth one. So he probably didn't have a lot tied to him either. Mm-hmm. So it's got to be most of the actors that got it, unless they had to get whatever permits they needed for the last scene at LAX. But besides that, yeah, that's the first. When you said $45 million, I was actually kind of surprised it was that high.
Interesting. Maybe it was the what was it, the El Camino car, or was it the El Dorado?
It's Monte Carlo.
Monte Carlo. I'm sorry. Yeah, I have in my notes later on. I don't gotta go for a look.
I used to have a Monte Carlo back then. When I saw this movie, I was like, oh, I should paint it black. But I'm also a loser, so it never would have looked as cool as Denzel Washington driving it.
If I put bullet holes in it, I don't know if I can get a gun, but maybe I'll take a screwdriver.
That would have been the easy part. That's when I lived in South Jersey. Someone would put bullet holes in my car, no problem down there.
Sir, can you shoot up my car? No problem.
The next door neighbor would have had no problem.
I see. Anyone else got any background on the movie that's there? That's what I got. I don't want to get too far into it. But that pretty much sums up the movie. Anything else, gentlemen?
Just the one thing is that with this being one of Fuqua's like early movies, the reason, or at least how he got started in movies, or at least directing, very similar to David Fincher, he actually did music videos first. So he actually did mostly predominantly like R&B, rap, hip-hop groups. But the big one that he did before Training Day was actually he directed Gangsta's Paradise by Coolio.
Oh, yes.
So I didn't look into it, but I'm assuming the reason why he could actually get a lot of these people like Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Macy Gray, all of them, because he worked in the industry and they probably knew him. I'm sure they probably also were like, oh, if Denzel's in the movie, I'll do it also. But yeah. I'm sure that probably helped. I think he did videos for, I think, like Prince, Tony Braxton. So he had, that's how he got started. I know David Fincher did like some stuff like that also before he got into film, or I should say directing films. But yeah, that's just a small thing that I had there.
And who wrote it? Was it Fincher or no? It's not Fincher. Ayer, right?
David Ayer wrote it.
He's done like a lot of like cop stuff as well, right? He did like was it the other one with Gyllenhaal? Like was it End of Watch? Right?
Yes, well, that's later on.
Yeah, but I mean, like that's not too far after this movie. Like,
I don't know what he did before.
End of Watch. Michael Pena was.
He's done a couple like sort of like weird cop drama, thriller sort of things. So it was good, all of them. So you can't really say he's bad at them.
No, without a doubt. Both End of Watch was also a very, very good movie. And so, Training Day. Let's go on. I'll give you guys their scores of what's going on for the Metacritic, Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb. So Rotten Tomatoes, 73% of Tomato Meter. Audience score is 89%. IMDb gave it 7.7 out of 10. Metacritic, the Meta score was 69 out of 100. User score was 8.9 out of 10. So that's what the audience and critics gave it there. So let's go with your thoughts and reviews on it. Anyone want to jump on this first? I don't know, Brian.
For me, I kind of agree with everything where they're saying. Like, I like this movie, but like, I'll put it like an 8 for me. I think what really stands out in this movie is just like how fucking good Denzel is in this movie. He was like him winning Best Actor for this. So you're just like, yeah, okay, he was phenomenal. And his other competition was Russell Crowe in like A Beautiful Mind, and I'm just like, yeah, he was better. A Beautiful Mind was okay. I mean,
I didn't like A Beautiful Mind.
Yeah, but I mean, Russell Crowe, fantastic actor, but Denzel just. He's just killing it the whole time, and you're like, he's so fucking believable. And for me, that's what makes this movie better than what I think it is. Because he's just so good in it. It's a solid movie, but if he wasn't in it, I don't know if I'm watching this a second time. Yeah,
exactly. I agree with you on that. Kev, what do you think?
When I was thinking about what I would give the movie, I would actually go a little higher. I would say it's a 9. I just think, and it's because it's not just that Denzel is so good in the movie, but really carries everything throughout the movie also. Everyone else who's in the movie, Ethan Hawke, everyone else that's in it also. I'm blanking. It's what's the guy who plays Roger? I'm blanking on his name.
I have it. Scott Glenn.
Scott Glenn, right. He was in the Right Stuff and stuff like that also. It's really just a chance for Denzel to show how good he is of an actor. And it's weird because you're watching the movie and maybe at the first half hour, you're not really sure if he's a quote unquote bad guy, but it becomes pretty obvious as the movie goes on he is. And you don't really care. You're just like, this is the coolest guy alive and everything he does is amazing.
Eventually he's setting you up for something, but you're not really sure what it is. And then you're just like, this fucking guy's bad. But at the same time, it's like, is he really that bad?
A lot of what he says the first half of the movie when he's trying to convince Ethan Hawke that what they're doing is necessary, you kind of believe him. It's like,
for sure. I kind of got that feeling
you're not going to get anything done otherwise. You don't want to wait in office for a warrant to come all day, I guess.
The street knowledge that what he's giving him, and you're just like, this all fucking makes sense. And it's just like, okay, I get it.
It's interesting. Again, I've seen this movie a few times. I was rewatching it again for this. And early on in the movie, even still knowing what's going to happen later on, you're like, nah, everything he says still basically makes sense.
Yeah, I agree.
There was the LAPD said that they let their narcotics officers, when they go on there, they're allowed to, I don't know if it still holds up till today, but at the time that they were allowed to smoke whatever, through some sort of illicit drugs. I think to a certain point you can, I think into the fine print. And at that time frame, that for warrants, they didn't have cell phones that were really wide available to call for something called a telephonic warrant. Hey, listen, judge, I'm about to go take this house. Do I get it an A-OK over the phone? I'll do the paperwork right after everything's done. And then even within the law, there's sometimes it's considered if you're going to if it's involving CDS drugs, that CDS controlled dangerous substances, so drugs that's going to go on that they believe it's going to somehow get missing, or they're going to flush the evidence down the toilet. You can actually take the door, but you have to explain the reason why you're going in there and doing it, because they have this copious amounts of, and they're about to destroy that evidence, something like that. Just a little background that I may know. I won't get too further into that, but so yeah, that was it. I agree with you guys. I without Denzel, this movie wouldn't be as good as it was. That's why he won Best Actor, and everything else. I watching it as in what I do now for a living. Makes me want to hate him. I hate him. But then I also he's God, he's so good. He brings it. And you can see, I don't want to get too far into it. We're going later on in favorite scenes, but it's just one scene, he's so convincing in his argument. I can't believe he could get anyone to do a desk pop. But he convinced this guy to that what he's doing is right. Because then you realize, man, all the shit they go through, and that guy was probably all the drugs he sold to probably kids and everything that got killed. He said, fuck him, let's kill him. And let's take some for us, because what's going to happen in the end? We're putting our lives on the line. Might as well get a piece of the action. Some of us are wow, man. If it was $100, man, I ain't going to jail dying over this.
Someone didn't sleep
it was but you're going for $250,000, holy shit. So
yeah, but once again, was he wrong in any of it? Like like morally, yes, but not really, because like you said, like he's like, that guy was a stone cold killer. He was selling drugs to kids. He was doing this. So like that guy profited off all that shit, and he was just using them to eventually for something that he needed.
His,
so like
his first account is what he says. It's probably the first guy he met at any point, and he kept him around for however many years, knowing he was going to do that someday.
Yeah. And it's just like, was he really wrong? Because this guy, just because the guy is clean now doesn't mean he's washed of all his stuff now, even though he's not. Like
he's not. He takes that first.
He's still making sales. He's still making sales. So it's not like he's done. So he's not wrong. So, but like the other part of this, and Denzel is, like I said, phenomenal in this movie and carries the whole thing. But you see the maturation process of like Ethan Hawke throughout the whole movie. Like in the beginning, like it just didn't look like he deserved to be on the same like level with him. Like in the beginning, like it just seemed like he wasn't ready to like, I don't know, like act or something like that. He was just looked lost, and you're just like, is this going to be the whole time? But like watching it now, like in more re-seeing it, exactly, he picks his game up, and then it's like, oh fuck, he's going toe to toe with him. Like, and it's Denzel. Like, it's not like he's just going toe to toe with like.
Yeah, when you look at that aspect, it's like it's Ethan Hawke and
he gets better throughout the
like,
movie,
and Denzel together. But when you look at it through the movie eyes, it's like he said he was 19 months as a police officer, so now he's into this high speed, low drag, fucking award winning, crime busting unit, and now he's like, okay, I'm the new guy, and I have to prove myself. So he actually plays the part fantastic. He's like, I have to do what I can. He's there in the diner scene, like he's trying to tell a stupid story about like when he's on like FTO being
which
being
I have
trained
that as one of my top scenes.
Okay,
but I mean, just like,
but yeah, he plays like that's the reason why he's a good actor. He plays it well. Like
he's trying to impress him with like, oh, listen to this fellow, and he stopped by once. Well, Alonzo's just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, he's like, well, look at this big dick.
You're gonna get shot at 30 times today, kid.
Yeah, I see. All right, now we're jumping too ahead. So let's take a quick break. We're gonna go into our favorite scenes. I know we're itching for that. And then we'll do quotes and the whole time meat potatoes of the show. And check out this Torque Wrench, Industrial Arts Brewing Company. All right, be right back. What a day. What a motherfucking day. All right, guys. We are back. Reels, Booze, and Bros. Bringing you the rest of the training day. All right, let's start. Let's get into it. So what you guys been here for? Favorite scenes. All right, who wants to start? Kev, let's go with you. Favorite scenes, what you got for this training day?
All right, I have like 7 of them, so
okay.
Let's go through. I'm sure, again, there'll be a lot of overlap, I'm sure.
Yeah, I try to limit it as well. But
the entire movie? Oh, wait a minute. I thought that was Zombieland.
So the first scene that I have is the introduction to Alonzo at the diner. So skipping over the scene with the wife in the morning, it's still nice to set up Hoyt's character, but first meeting Alonzo and how just kind of indifferent and just doesn't give a shit about anything that Jake's doing. The whole thing is just like, get yourself some breakfast. No. It's like, oh, yeah, I will have breakfast. No, you fucked that up.
I agree with that.
Yeah, so just the whole thing, just listening to him, and then he tells
he
tells the story, and then he's like, or he's trying to tell a story, and Alonzo, we'll get into quotes later, but he's like, I'm trying to read my newspaper. It's bullshit, but it entertains me. You're not letting me, so you entertain me with your bullshit.
Before you jump on.
So you just meet him right there. It's just like, you just know he's going to be gold the whole way, just like a no-nonsense, doesn't give a shit cop, basically.
Before you jump into, I want to say that diner scene reminds me of similar to the Kingpin, like another diner scene where they're just eating, and it's just a funny conversation, but not like in the context wise, but it's the fact that there's some pretty good diner scenes that people have. Anyway, go on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if you want to jump in now or if I'll just keep going, or because I mean that's the first scene that I have.
No.
But
I agree. I think I just like how it sets up the dynamic between the two of them. Like you could tell, like he's scared shitless, like he doesn't want to say anything wrong, or he's just, like you said, trying to impress him. And Denzel's just like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
and that's why you can tell, like as soon as he tells him, he's like, all right, sit there and shut up, no breakfast. You can tell Jake Hoyt's just kind of sitting, he's like, oh, I fucked up already.
Yeah,
he's trying to think of some way to impress him, and he's just like,
And I just love the fact that after he's just like, looking around. He's like, I don't know what I should be doing. He's like, do I try to get coffee? Do I try to signal her down? Like, I'll pay for my own breakfast. like that's what's probably going through his own head like right now. And then Denzel's just sitting there, and he's just like, fuck, I'm done. Like he's gonna
be nice not to sweat in the hot car all day.
Yeah. So yeah, that was, I like that scene a lot. Yeah.
So there's that. From there, the next scene that I have, there's a couple of things that happen before it, but basically when he actually does smoke the weed PCP combination in the car.
We don't know it's PCP.
Well, he doesn't know it then.
Yeah.
And he's like, a good narcotics officer must always have narcotics in his system. He's like, you're going to smoke that? Nope, you are. So just that whole scene and everything, basically for the next 5 minutes when Ethan Hawke is fucked up. Also when they're stopped in the intersection, he pulls the gun first on him and then on the other driver who's sitting there waiting for him also. Shut the fuck up.
I love to just do that.
That's one of the things where when that first happens, just like, this movie is going to be messed up somehow. Like,
exactly.
You know it's going to be great too. It's like he's basically forcing this guy at gunpoint to smoke. So obviously it's not until later you find out it was PCP, angel dust, germ. Ew, didn't know you like to get wet.
Yeah, but
I never did it.
Like you just didn't know like he was setting him up for something along this whole line. Like, and eventually how you find out later on in the movie. But it's just he was always like 2 steps ahead of him with everything. So
find out later. It's like you've been playing this all day. I've been playing it all week.
Yeah,
I'm playing chess, motherfucker.
Yep. Yeah.
All right, what you got? What else you got, Kev?
So from there, the next thing that I have is the first time he meets Roger. So going to Roger's house the first time, where he's obviously messed up, and it's an important scene too because I remember the first time watching this movie, you don't know who Roger is. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but my assumption was he was like a retired police officer, probably.
Yeah,
he says that
exactly.
he knows,
the first time.
That's what it felt like. A guy old. This is old guy.
Yeah, he says he's planning his retirement. He says that he knew Alonzo, and he was like, "Oh, you were just like him when you first started," and all that stuff. Also, so you're supposed to get the idea that maybe it's on the up and up.
Yeah, you thought this was his guy when he was coming up.
Yeah, his mentor, basically.
Mentor,
Yeah, so I mean, it's just interesting. Also, I mean, he's good in his role. Also, and I can't. It's great that he's in his role, and I'm blanking on his name. Scott Glenn, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Scott
Jesus Christ. But I mean, he's really great at it. Also, I mean, it could go either way. You could buy him as being like kind of like a grizzled old veteran cop, or just kind of like the opposite, like more of like a laid back compared to what you would normally consider a drug dealer. Probably, I guess, more affluent because he's the guy who's actually distributing for everyone. It seems like also. So
yeah.
Oh yeah. He was definitely high up there in the.
Yeah.
He wasn't pushing on the corners. Maybe when he was like 17, maybe like with 13.
He probably worked his way up.
Oh, he worked his way up without that. But he was running. He's running
a game.
I mean, I think we're supposed to believe that whoever the Sandman is, because we never see who that is, the reason why they get the warrant is because it's implied that he must have been the one supplying for him also. And I'm sure not just him, everyone else, that he's got his hands in everything. I mean, Alonzo says it later on. He's the one that was, he was the number one guy, basically. So that whole scene, the story that he tells, we'll get into quotes later. But the next scene I have, there's probably some scenes that are missing here that if you guys want to fill in. But the next scene that I have is the Snoop Dogg scene in the wheelchair. So
the chase in the wheelchair.
The chase. Hey, buddy, slow down. Give me a break.
I realize the fact that he's so high and fucked up, he's chasing after.
And then the one thing that doesn't make sense to me, and I don't know if I'm nitpicking now, but we find out later in the movie, Alonzo says, "Remember that guy in the wheelchair? How do you think he got there?" So how does Snoop Dogg not recognize him at first when he first pulls up in the car anyway? It smelled like bacon up in here.
Yeah, true.
But I don't know what's going on there. But that whole scene, that's the first, I think that's like the first like kind of like celebrity cameo that you see in the film, if I remember correctly. Like as far as from the music industry. I don't think Dr. Dre is later. No, Macy Gray is later. He's like the first one.
Macy Gray's right after.
Where was she? I don't remember where she. Oh, that's right. No,
she's the mom.
He steals the money.
The money from the house. That's right. I remember that now. Dre was part of the he's part of the team.
Squad.
So he's one of the, so I think
and he was
Snoop
wearing
Dogg's
dreads at that time, right?
Yeah.
When he had hair.
And he's, well, I don't know if we're going to talk about it later, but he's a horrible actor.
Oh God, he's so bad. So bad.
But anyway, so I have the Snoop Dogg scene, everything there, and I'm kind of like not giving too much about what's going on because a lot of it's dialogue from what Alonzo is saying to these people the entire time. Because, just like with Zombieland, there's a lot of one-liners. Similar to this, not necessarily funny, but still really cool, everything he says to these guys also. 10 years for every bullet.
Yep. Like, realistically, you could almost say, like, every line from Alonzo is quotable.
Yeah.
Because, like, he's just, not only is he, like, they're not meant to be funny, but, like, the delivery of how he does it, they kind of are funny at the same time. And you're just like, fucking guy's awesome. Like, I want to root for him the whole time. Because, like I said, I feel like he's not wrong in what he's doing. To get to that level, I guess you have to do things unorthodox.
You can't be doing that shit, jabbing a pen down his throat. What if that guy complains? To who?
You want to clean that up? You want to gather the evidence?
Yeah, so I had that also. There's one scene that like I kind of skipped over at first, but the only reason why I'm including is, at least in my opinion, it's like the coolest thing that happens in the movie. So when they go to the Sandman's house, when they're leaving, the 30 seconds of the gunfight, when Denzel gets out of the car and is shooting both pistols at the same time, and as he's doing it, when he first gets out, just like blindly shooting, it's still hitting all the trees, everything where he's basically aiming. And just when he just looks at them and goes, "Oh yeah, motherfucker," as he's actually doing it, just phenomenal as he's doing it. I don't know why. I didn't want to include the whole scene, but just that one like 30 seconds to a minute of him actually getting, that's the first time he actually fires a gun in the movie also. So it's actually pretty cool because you know he's a badass listening to him. That's the first time you actually see him doing something where you're like, whoa, this is...
And when he's
about that life.
When he's doing that, he's like, yeah, I got the biggest dick in the room.
Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, there's like at least like 15 guys all shooting. I mean, just hops right out of the car and just starts firing and just does not give a shit. Oh, yeah, motherfucker.
and they're all running and hiding. He's just standing right and he's like, boom, just fucking popping off. I'm like, this guy fucking does not give a shit.
Yep.
And it's great.
And you have the two different ones. There's Ethan Hawke's in the car trying to get it started, like hunched over, like,
yeah. He has one canted, the other one straight. He's just shooting there, stuff like that. So, all
right. So basically, just trying to finish up. I have like the next half of the movie really quickly. I had the Three Wise Men scene. Also, it's interesting. There's not a lot going on there, but I really just have it there for the story. The one guy, his name is Harlan something, I think, but he's also the judge from Ghostbusters 2. He's the one telling the cat burglar story.
Yeah.
The Ghostbusters.
Yeah. So I kind of glossed over that because it's an important scene. That's where we find out why Alonzo is kind of setting all of this stuff up.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I don't know if it's one of like the top scenes, but I think it's still interesting. And that story the guy tells about the peanut butter is great.
Oh yeah, it's good. I have to agree though, because that's like a pivotal moment in the movie. Like if you don't have that scene, you miss a lot. Yeah.
It's hinted at here and there because later on, Dr. Dre says, "I heard you got into it in Vegas. Are you all right? I got your back." There's something earlier on too. Roger, when he first goes to see Roger, he says, "I heard you had a tough time in Vegas. I got your back." But we never hear until then.
Yeah,
until
exactly.
What the Russians going on, and the fact that Tom Berenger, great
Sergeant Barnes or Captain Barnes.
He's only in it for less than 5 minutes. He's got like 3 speaking lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the head of the DA shooting team. He'll snatch your nuts and use them for dice. So the last 3 I have, these are actually in some order along with the first scene with Alonzo in the diner. These are like the 3 overall, like the best scenes that I think that are in the movie, all towards the end. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to go over them real quickly and stop talking. But it's the scene where they actually do rob Roger going through the house when they're setting everything up. That's when it becomes clear, like, the first time I saw this movie, when, spoiler alert, when Denzel shoots Roger, it's like, oh, holy shit, what the fuck just happened? That's when you realize that this is obviously 100... You had feelings it wasn't on the up and up before, but once that happens... And they're joking about it before, too.
He may not be a good guy.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. He is definitely not a good guy. But why do I like him?
I still liked him afterwards, too, because as soon as he shoots him, all right, let me quarterback this thing. I got the game plan here. Let me tell you how this is going to go down.
You motherfuckers want to go to jail? Let me do this.
So I had the Hispanic gang scene, that entire time where they go into the, whatever, I don't remember what the gang's name was they mentioned in the movie, but going into the house where they're actually paid to basically they were getting paid to execute Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, I had that scene.
Very similar to like the Latin Kings.
After that, the last scene, I'm not a big fan of the whole chase on the rooftop. When I was watching this time, it actually looked kind of silly, like rewatching it, like didn't really make a lot of sense. Not to say that it's not bad, but I mean, we're now used to like high action films with all these great special effects. There's not a lot they can probably do back then.
It's no Fast Five.
They
chasing the roof on the favela scenes.
Like I had the same thing, like the Alonzo versus.
I have that scene just because of after Hoyt robs Alonzo, the whole speech at the end, basically.
Yep.
That whole thing when he is basically setting everything up about him getting shot by everyone else, and it turns back on Alonzo instead. But
yeah, pretty much. And
those are the scenes that I had for the movie.
Yeah, like I agree with those last 3 scenes. Like especially like with the last one you just said, the whole hood, the whole gang, just like nah, fuck this guy. Like I'm tired of him, and they like set it up before. Like Alonzo's like just such a badass where he's. Like, even the gangsters are afraid of him, and they're just like, fuck this guy, man. Someone needs to take this guy out.
Yeah.
And you don't understand why, but at the same time, he's still, like, helping them. They're like, oh, thanks for getting my cousin off, blah, blah, blah. But it's just like...
Behind his back, I can't stand that motherfucker.
Yeah,
and you get that vibe from literally everyone in the movie. Everyone except for the 3 other guys on the crew. They're basically in it with him.
Yeah.
But anyone else he deals with all movie long, you can all tell that they're just tired of Alonzo's shit.
Yeah,
basically.
like, they're like, all right, he will help me, but... Like, it's like, keep your enemies like closer.
Yeah.
You know, like that's
Friends close,
that sort of
enemies
deal.
closer,
Like,
yeah.
So, and it's
He'll
just
turn
like,
on you on a dime.
Oh yeah, and they all
Well, the
know
one guy
it. And
says, he's like, never shake his hand. He don't respect nada.
Exactly, and it never dawned on you until you see the movie a couple times, and until you're like, fuck, man, that was such an important line.
Even this time, like watching it, like when we're talking about like nobody likes him, when you watch Eva Mendes the first time he goes to his house, when she's leaving, she looks kind of like pissed off after he leaves. Like, I mean, you see at the end, like she basically takes the kid and like hides behind when he's like leaving, so you get it then. But there's just this way you can kind of tell that just absolutely everybody just cannot stand Alonzo for the most part.
Yeah. So, like for me, like I agree with pretty much everything that you have on those scenes. The only one that I have in there that's not is when he beats up the crackheads. When Hoyt
when
beats him up.
they're trying to rape that like 14-year-old.
Yeah, the 14-year-old
Get
girl.
down, protect and serve.
Well, and I think it's important for Hoyt's characters. Tough to say right there.
Hoyt's character development.
It just shows like who he is. Like his instincts are just to be that guy, and he like the whole time
Strong safety.
Yeah. But the whole time he's always saying he's like, I want to take bad guys off the street, and this is what he does, and it shows like he just goes on his instinct, and it sets up like his character very, very well. Like he's the good guy, you know, and like Denzel's trying to corrupt him like sort of the whole time, and he just is like, no, man, I can't do it. That's not me. Like I want to get good guys. I want to get bad guys off the street. Like that's why I signed up to be a police officer. And you're like, you gotta respect that. And just the way he fucking beats those guys up was pretty good. And like Denzel, and when he comes back in and he's like, "Oh, my man, like fucking them up," and then,
should have shot him.
Yeah, but then
he justified to shoot him.
But then right after that, it's like, man, fucking Denzel steals the scene again, because when the guy starts talking back to him,
you told me suck my dick.
Yep.
Got the fucking gun out and shit. Yeah.
And I was like, motherfucker, he fucking wins every scene, like he always does, and it was so good. And I was just like, fuck. This is great. But, like, obviously it comes down later along the line that saving that girl's life ends up saving his life, because at that same time, like, when you go talk about, like, going into, like, that Mexican gang.
It's like the hillside something or other.
And that, like, the execution that they're going to pull on him, and they're like, you ever have shit pushed in?
Oh, God, yeah.
But it was just like, those guys were just, like, all great in that scene. And he just looked so uneasy in the scene, especially when they're playing cards, and he was just like, what the fuck's going on here? And
interesting side note for behind the scenes, apparently the director told the three Mexicans like what game they were playing, and they were supposed to keep Hoyt out of the loop on what they were playing, because they wanted him to be as like confused when they were playing as possible.
Oh, okay,
also,
well it definitely worked, because he's just like, what the fuck's going on here? Like,
that's probably why he looks so confused. Two pair.
Fucking three of a kind wins, motherfucker.
I win a 2, a 5, a 7, a 9, a jack.
But
I win. It's that Family Guy where he has, what do they call it? Like the something straight or the something flush? I can't remember what they call it.
I don't know.
I can't remember what it was.
I'm going off the Big Daddy. I win.
That's a frush.
Anyway.
Easy, Takashi. But that whole scene like was really well done, and then it was just when they're getting ready to execute him, and he's like, how he saves the cousin's life, and he's, if you're lying, you're gonna be like. And then he's just like, all right, man. And just the way he says, I know I literally just had a gun basically in your mouth. He's like, it was all business, bro. It was just how he said it, so calm and cool. Like, it was just business, man.
It's business. It was like,
listen. I was like, you're messing up my floor.
Yeah.
I started, it wasn't a Family Guy joke. It was a Simpsons joke when Homer joins, I think it's called the Stonecutters.
Yes,
like,
yep, exactly.
And they're playing cards with him. He's like, you have the royal sampler.
Yeah, everyone has their cards facing him so he can win.
It's like, I've got nothing. He's like, no, you have the royal sampler.
Yeah.
You win.
But yeah, those were like the scenes that I have, and I said there were a lot of repeats, but they were I just feel like those just kind of stand out more than anything else.
I mean, there's a lot of good scenes in the movie also. Like, it's even one of the early scenes where they actually rob the college kids also. Like, that's where you first meet Alonzo. But it's not as good as like other scenes that come later, so I didn't want to just go over everything.
I'm not, because you can't really put it into one scene. I just put all the car stuff in together, because like that whole time, you realize he's setting him up, but at the same time, he's dropping all this knowledge on him. You know, and he's like giving him all this advice, and you know, some of the shit he's saying is like, bro, he's not wrong. He's giving him all the street knowledge that he needs to know, and he's like, you know, you're good, you could do this, you could change this, but you have to do this. You know, and then, you know, anyone who understands, like, you know, being in any sort of workplace, that you have to fucking kiss ass and, you know, do shit. You know, unfortunately, until you're running the game, you can't make changes. You know, like, so. Like,
there's stuff you got to do in it. And, but there's always loopholes you can always go by.
Exactly.
And you can get by.
But he's telling him that.
Yeah, you got to pay your dues.
Yeah. But it was just like, it was very, like, knowledge, you know, like, based the whole time, like, when he was just giving him all this stuff, and you're like, all right. It's tough to narrow it down to like one scene, but like the car scenes were good too.
Yeah, okay. You know? I got you. Anything else you want to throw in there, Brian? Are you done for scenes?
Yeah, that's it for me.
Okay, I'll throw mine in there. Obviously, I enjoyed the raid on the Rogers house from start to finish. I want to say after there's that brief scene of where after
also
Rogers' house,
they're in the car again.
where they're in a lot of shit takes place in the car if you don't realize. So as Brian explained, how the game is played, he's letting him know. Basically, he called, Alonzo called, and you realize that like he set up like, listen, I'll meet you later. He set up the execution of Hoyt.
Yeah, make sure that bathtub's clean.
Yeah,
which the first time you see the movie, you have no idea what he's talking about. When you see it again, you're like, oh, all right. So he really
like,
did have all this
shit. He's like, he just set up that execution for Hoyt because Hoyt's not one of the boys. He didn't take the money,
and it doesn't even matter. Like he has that conversation with Hoyt afterwards, but it doesn't matter. Hoyt's already fucked.
Yeah. He's trying to explain to him, this is what's going on. This is how it's done, and. You know what? He probably could have convinced Alonzo at that point. Maybe if he said something like, "I'll take the money," you know what's going on. You know, so this is something I can do, and then Alonzo would have been like, "All right, you know, we're not going to go to that place." Yeah. Well, you know what?
Then the movie doesn't go the rest of the way.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, it may go a different way. Anyway, and then I want to say again, back to the car. When they first introduced the Monte Carlo, the 1979
baby,
the lowrider, and
still DRE playing.
Yeah, that's I said that you have the Dr. Dre in the background. What was that?
It's still DRE from the 2000
2001.
2001
yeah,
album, right?
Or 2000.
Yeah, the album is called 2000 or 2001. I have that album somewhere.
Yeah. The Chronic 2000.
Yeah.
It's basically the entire scene is what Alonzo tells him. This is what the narcotics it's about, and what it can do for you. Like, you're a star in this unit. Whatever you want, you can get. Hoyt, he wanted to be a detective.
Yeah.
So he's like, listen, you can get that in my unit. And if you want to be a captain, you can do that. You give me like five. What?
No, it's a lot. He says
18 months.
As I say, after he does the scene with Roger, when the one guy says, "Where you transferring to, detective?" It's like, you give me 18 months, I give you a career.
Yeah.
That's.
But even then, at the same time, he's also telling him, he's like, "You want my job? You could have it." He's like, "You're a leader." The rest of these guys aren't leaders, and he's telling them this stuff.
Like, I mean, he says that, but he's probably trying to say he's trying to make sure that he doesn't say anything too.
Yeah. But at the same time,
that's after the Roger scene, right? When he says that, okay.
Yeah, like when they're once again sitting in the car.
Yeah, that was him sitting in the car after he hired the guys to execute him, and the final battle scene. When they probably, in my opinion, one of the greatest lines. I'll go into like favorite quotes, and not the rooftop, not going on, but it was like past that when they're all surrounded by the.
It's the Bloods, yeah.
Yep, that's what I liked. And now we're moving on. Favorite quotes. I'll go first really quick. So we got Alonzo to Jake. To protect the sheep, you got to catch the wolf, and it takes a wolf to catch a wolf. Pretty much anything Denzel said, Alonzo, his character is all quotable.
Yeah.
So. Alonzo shouting to Jake, you can shoot me, but you can't kill me. I think it was after he shot him in the ass.
Yeah, that's at the very end. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Alonzo goes again, another one. I got 5, all boys. You ever need a son? Let me know. I'll hook your old lady up. I can't miss. And then I think that probably the greatest quote, and what I remember the most is, King Kong ain't got shit on me. Again, as we stated earlier, pretty much anything Alonzo says out of his mouth is like, God damn, that's.
I'm sure you know from doing your behind the scenes or your all that stuff. That's ad libbed also, not the script.
Yes,
so he was just feeling it when he was going, and there it went. I'm actually kind of interested to see. That's the one that everyone talks about. I wonder how much other stuff he just kind of made up on the fly. When he was going
if they had like any behind the scenes something like that that's going on, I like that one a lot. So that's what I got. I don't want to go like we can go crazy with all this stuff.
So for me, for quotes, like literally all of mine are Denzel. Like I think I have 7 quotes. 5 of them were from Denzel. One is from Hoyt, and the other one is from the Mexican. And it was just Like the other Denzel quotes that I have is this shit's chess, it ain't checkers. I just love that. It was just how he said it, and it's just so in the moment. You're just like, fuck, this guy's good. The other one was they build jails because of me. You know, like, and he's just going like on his whole rap sheet of like what he's doing. Then the other one, which he says it throughout the movie a bunch of times, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. You know, and I was just like, fuck, he's so right. Like, it's like, yeah, he's what can you prove? You know, that was good.
I'm gonna jump in on this real quick because I'm not gonna get too further in. I can totally understand what he's exactly saying on that, because without cameras, without microphones that's going on, that's when police officers' words were like gold. Everything they said and what you can prove that's going on, and you have the collaboration, everyone else. But now there's so much.
Yeah, there's body cams. And
body cams that's going on, which has helped them in every aspect, which is good. But it lets a corrupt officer like him continue to do his job because he's been so decorated and so good that he can continue doing something. It's not what what you can prove, and you can, because if you have other police officers who are able to do this, oh my god, such corruption, which it angers me and so much. But then, like, that's the times back in the day. All right, I'm sorry, Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, so the other one was from the Mexicans. You ever have your shit pushed in? And the reason why because just the way the one guy says it, where he's just so adamant, he's just like freaking out, like he's shaking. Your shit pushed in.
Yeah, you fucking see his traps come up in the veins
coming out of the neck.
Yeah,
like neck and then possibly out of his head. Like, I don't know. He's just like, he may have been getting it pushed in at that point. So I'm not even sure. Like, just the way it happened. Like, he was like reliving every moment.
He's got the stool he's sitting on upside down.
When I have Taco Bell, I look like that.
So that was that. And then my last quote was actually from Hoyt. And this one was, it's all about smiles and cries. Yeah. You got to control your smiles and cries because that's all you have and nobody can take that away from you. I just thought that was a good one. So those were my quotes. Like I said, I think we could do pretty much anything from Denzel, like just put his whole fucking,
just pull up his script and just start
Denzel,
talking.
Boom. And it could be, like I said, if Denzel's not in this movie, I don't think those lines are delivered as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course. There's not anyone that can repeat those lines and how he's done it. I got you. So Zach, what you got?
So I'll just add a couple of things in here also. Again, a lot of minor things from Denzel that haven't been said yet, but I do have one more from Snoop Dogg, actually. Just a real quick line. After Hoyt tackles him, puts him
bacon.
On. There's that, but the one I have is
put
me in the front seat with him. I bet I whoop his ass. Because obviously he's in the wheelchair. It's just fantastic. I talked about some of the things that Alonzo said in the diner. But the one thing actually is when he's done with the story and he's just like, I don't believe you. And he's like, you tapped that ass, didn't you? He's like, no. He's like, I got a wife. He's like, you got a dick, right? It's like, you do have a dick. It's all right. The dick lines up straight. He's like, on either side of it are pockets. In those pockets is your wallet. Get your wallet, pay the bill. So they have that. I mentioned before, to be a good narcotics agent, you have to know and love narcotics. In fact, a good narcotics agent should have narcotics in his blood. So I like that also. When you actually said there's a line that Denzel repeats through the movie, and you said it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. The one thing that I thought you were going to say is you want to go to jail or you want to go home. Because that's what he says throughout the movie to basically everyone over and over again through the movie also. And it's very important to all those people because you can tell that he's got his thumb on everyone. It's like Alonzo can turn on any of them at any minute. And he's just like, you want to go to jail or you want to go home?
Yeah, that's his character. He's done this. That's why he's the captain of this unit. He's done it so many times and that he wants to reiterate every time. Like, this is how you go. This is how you become a hero, because you'll get medals, you get awards, you'll be in the paper, but you know what? Then you realize you're fucking corrupt, and you can go to jail over one slip of a word.
At the same time, like, they were gonna be heroes after taking Roger down.
What are they labeling as? He was like kind of working for the Sandman, the best guy. So
they're gonna say he's the one who was distributing to everyone. Yeah. He's like, Roger sold dope to kids. He's like, the world is a better place without him.
Yeah, so. And then the one guy got shot, so he's getting another medal.
Yep.
The Hoyt is going to get a medal for killing the guy. Like,
you're a virgin shooter above suspicion.
Yeah. So like the rest of them are all going to get, an award. So it's like
some sort of commendation for all of them. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just a couple of other ones that I have just real quick. This is a podcast about movies, but drinking beer also. So after Alonzo is done finishing up what Hoyt did to the two crack addicts in the alley, damn, I'm thirsty. I want a beer. How about you? You want a beer? So pretty good. You can always use that when you go out and have a beer with someone at some point. Damn, I'm thirsty.
Yeah, it's been a while since I beat some crackheads and had a beer.
But he says it so confidently too. He's like, damn, I'm thirsty. I want a beer. So, so all those things about the wolf and the sheep, he says, let the garbage men handle the garbage. We're professional anglers. We go after big fish. And then right afterwards, when he tells them, you know, those people should be off the streets, everything, fuck them and everyone who looks like them. Just the one last thing also. So towards the very end, when he's in Alonzo's house, the one line that I remember from this movie also is when he's got the shotgun and he's not chasing, but he's basically stalking Alonzo into the hallway. You know I'm surgical with this bitch, right, Jake? Just the idea of him saying I'm surgical with this bitch is pretty good. But yeah, and then, like you said before, the entire last speech, I run shit here, you just live here.
Yeah.
Everything he says at the end. Just phenomenal. So that last speech.
Yeah, he's like literally like a gangster being a cop. You know, like
a gangster with a badge. Plain simple.
I wonder. I mean, we can talk. I wonder why he lives in. They call it the jungle, right? So I wonder why, as a cop. I mean, obviously it's his girlfriend, I guess, that lives there. At the same time, I wonder why she lives there. But it's. I wonder if he.
I think that's just his girlfriend. He has a wife somewhere else. You know. Like,
I don't think he has a wife. I just think he has kids with.
No, there's no way. He probably he has. Yeah.
He's got 5 boys, but not one wife. He's got multiple women. So
maybe one might have.
You hear him
two.
when he's all that. I didn't mention it for quotes. It just popped in my head. All that jelly and no toast. When he sees that one girl walking up, also. So he probably gets around. So
you think?
Yeah, but I'm just when I saw that scene, the first thing that I thought, not the first thing, I'm saying watching it now, is I can't imagine that she would actually willingly live there. She seems very out of place.
Yes.
I wonder if it's Alonzo's place and that's just whoever he's with right now. And I wonder, I mean, this is just me spitballing. I wonder if Alonzo's background has anything to do with gangs and maybe he got in as an informant because of it. I just find it really weird that they say he's like, I got the golden pass, you know, I got the golden ticket. They know I treat him fair, but it's really weird that an undercover cop would willingly live in that area.
Yeah.
He's not really undercover when they all fucking know he's a cop.
They all know he's a cop. They all know
he's got to be the worst. I mean, like I said, Snoop Dogg has to know who he is. He's not undercover.
Probably.
But anyway, yeah, that's what I had for quotes to add to it.
Okay. All right. Now moving on. We got those 2 down. So let's go to the movie awards. We're going to start off with best quote. I'm going to nominate King Kong Ain't Got Shit on Me because I remember hearing that after this movie was done all the time. Again, it's Alonzo, Denzel Washington. It has to be him with any quote he has. Guys, what do you think? Anything else you want to nominate and throw in there? Is it very memorable?
It's anything he does. And the thing is, I mean, that quote, I don't know if it's like meme worthy now, but everyone knows that quote now. But when you first see the movie, like that quote still hits you also. Yeah. It's like, he's like, I'm not dying. I'm not done. None of you have anything on me.
Yeah, the way he just says it with so much conviction. Yeah. Like, he's like, I'm fucking the man. No one can fucking touch me. And that's it. And it just, because they all just look at him and they're just like, if it's anybody else, they're blasting that fool off and they don't even give a shit. But they are like, it's like a real like moment where it's like, do we do it? Do we not do it? Like they don't know what to do.
Yeah. And everyone wants to do it so bad, but the fact that they know that something's gonna happen, because he can bring the pain and he'll bring it hard. He won't get you. He'll get you, your family, and your cousins and something like that. It kind of reminds me of like Goodfellas. They go after everybody in your family.
But
and stuff like that.
I know for like you could just tell like if someone just popped off one shot, the rest of them are jumping in and just like fuck it. Someone threw
That's
one
why,
in.
like we said earlier, Bones like I can't stand that fucking guy, and you can tell the guys who are with him. Which Terry Crews is one of them. Also, I had no. I was rewatching it. I was like, is that Terry Crews? I didn't know he was in this movie.
He doesn't say anything.
He doesn't say anything. He's just a jack dude. Like, oh damn, it's Terry Crews.
You see, he's the one that's flipping pigeons. You see all like the weird like veins in his head, basically when he's doing it all. So I was like, oh, it's Terry Crews. Interesting. But you can tell if Bone feels that way when he says it. No one says anything. You can tell everyone just fucking hates him.
Was that the Mike Tyson era of when he became the pigeon guy? You remember that? You ever hear about?
They did that. It was probably around then because his fight against his comeback fight against Lennox Lewis was like probably around 2000ish, somewhere around there. And then after that,
and then he did the pigeon thing for a bit.
Yeah,
I wonder if
the pigeons thing also. Yeah,
if that's what they based Terry Crews' character off of.
They couldn't get Mike Tyson. They couldn't get the guy that played Zeus in No Holds Barred. So Terry Crews will have to do.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Right. No, I mean I agree with you. Like if we're gonna do best quote, that's the most memorable and like the most important.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're
that's
saying,
what wins him the Oscar.
If you're saying that there's like no quotes from any other people in the movie, the only one I'm going to say is what Brian said already. The whole you got your shit pushed in thing in that scene. Also, that's That's got, at least for someone who's not Denzel speaking, that's a pretty memorable quote.
Yeah, that's a very memorable.
Also.
As much I fucking hate that guy. Okay, that's what I got. Okay, so I guess we can all agree on that best quote. King Kong ain't got shit on me. Now best scene, Brian. What do you think? Best scene? There's a lot.
I don't know, man. This is a tough one because, like I said, there are, man, a bunch of good ones.
So nominate some. Let's converse and see what we think about.
So I know what my favorite scene is.
Go ahead.
So do you want me to go first?
Yeah, of course.
It might not be a popular choice either. When I think of this movie, we were just talking about the first scene I always think of is it's the Mexican gang scene.
You really?
That's my favorite scene in the movie. And you were just saying that you can't stand that guy. I think Smiley is phenomenal.
Yeah, you like Smiley.
I think he is great.
Hate him.
You can tell
he controls the room.
The instant Alonzo opens the door, he's the one that's there, and you can already tell the same thing we talked about. All of these people that Alonzo has under his thumb, Smiley can't fucking stand him. He says later on, and when you see it when it's first going on, if you end up watching it again, watch Smiley, because the whole time they're talking to Hoyt, he's like trying to size him up. And when he says the line, the one guy's like, "How long have you been a pig for?" He's like, "I've been a pig for 18 months." You can see Smiley's kind of like, this guy's like really young. It's like, it sucks. It probably sucks what he thinks he has to do to him, probably. And if you watch it, I think he has a really like impressive, like small performance for like 5 minutes for a guy.
Fuck yeah,
and the thing is, he's the quiet.
You're telling guys like, oh my god.
I'm just saying, you might not have it as the same for the best scene, but I think he's really good in that 5 minutes, even though he's real quiet. But the whole point is he's sizing him up the whole time, trying to figure out what's going on. The other two guys are the knuckleheads who are trying to like basically intimidate him. But he's really strong in that 5 minutes.
So I was leaning this one. I was like, it's either the Mexican gang scene or when they're doing the raid.
Yeah,
so
those are the ones
those are my two, and I'm leaning towards this one because, like you said, like Smiley commands this scene. He just like his like coolness. Just like,
and I still
the way
feel,
he says it's just
part of that coolness of him like not talking a lot is he has to not be happy with whatever's going on. He's like, the ones when he pulls out the other, he says, "What kind of gun do you have?" 9mm Beretta standard issue, and the one guy says, "Oh, kind of like this one." You can see that's pretty much indicates that this has happened at least once in the past, if not more than that. Like Alonzo's probably had other cops that have gone through this that have not made it out. He says, "Make sure that bathtub's clean" on the phone call. This has probably happened before.
Yeah.
Smiley's probably not happy with any of this at all, but he has to do it because he's pressed by Alonzo. He says, he's like, never shake his hand.
And he's
that guy
paying
respects
him,
nothing. That's when he says he's bringing the gifts for the family. He's, Hoyt makes a joke about him opening up a Radio Shack or whatever. Yeah. But the cash is what gets counted. And as soon as the cash comes and they count it and they know Alonzo's gone, that's when everything sets in motion where he's going to die after, or he's supposed to die afterwards. So, but because he's so soft-spoken, I think the reason why that happens is because he's just like, this fucking sucks. If anything ever goes wrong with everything, eventually if it gets out, he knows that everyone in the house is going to be fucked, but they have no choice. They have to deal with it because Alonzo has
It's like, he's like, either Alonzo's going to come down on me or the other fucking law.
And I mean, we can talk about the comedic value of getting your shit pushed in and everything else that happens. The scene of him getting dragged into the tub, finding out that the wallet belongs to the cousin.
Yes, the cousin.
Right? Okay, so this is where
that's my favorite scene, and I would say the Roger scene and also the very last speech. Those are the ones, but I still think the Mexican gang scene is the best scene in the movie.
Okay, that's the problem. Okay, I got Smiley confused with Sniper, the guy who has...
Sniper is the
one
idiot.
who says you have your shit pushed in. Okay, that's where... Okay, now I was getting... It's the two S's that got me.
Yeah, so, and I have no... I was going to look it up before, and I have no idea what the other guy's name is.
With random guys like this, he was like, "I seen your gun, this is my gun."
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's what I got. So you guys both kind of agree on that scene, Brian?
I really do. Like I said, I like the raid scene. Like both of those scenes, I think, are the two most important scenes in the movie. I mean, they do come later on, but it's like how
this is. I mean, we're talking about the last like 40 minutes of the movie, basically, and it's all really solid from that raid scene on. So
so like from then on, like I mean, not to say the movie wasn't good to begin with, but from there it takes it up to another level. And like those two scenes really bring it up, and I really do like that Mexican gang scene. And just like you said, how Smiley's so cool, and like you said, he's sizing him up, and he's just like, "Man, I can't believe I gotta fucking do this again." He's like, "But if I don't do this, he's gonna come back down. He's gonna fuck this whole operation up that we have going. Whatever they're fucking doing." And
not for nothing, when they're first even going up, and they have Rock Superstar playing, and you can see everyone coming up. even the one guy is like, you know where you're at. And he says it to Alonzo also.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, those people don't give a shit about anything either.
Nope, not one
They look
bit.
at Hoyt, what the fuck are you looking at? Like, you're just, it's really from the start of that scene, like, it's all just terrifying the whole time. You have no idea where the fuck it's going.
Yeah,
Because no one treats, I mean, they might treat Jake that way, but nobody treats Alonzo that way throughout the entire movie.
Yeah,
And they're the first ones who really show.
They
like,
really
no,
just do not care.
They just show like no fear.
Yeah.
And you're just like, you don't know what's gonna happen when you're first originally watching this movie. At that scene, you're just like, you have a feeling something bad's about to go down, but you don't know what. And it was just like, holy shit. And when he finds out, you know, that he saved his cousin, and he's like, you ain't lying, right? And then,
if
and
you're
then
lying,
I
I'm
love
gonna
the fact,
blow your fucking balls off.
and then,
oh man, that'd be even worse. He's about to get a shotgun to the face, but now the ball's down
but
in the
then,
face.
like, I love at the end, like when he finds out that she, you know, like he was telling the truth, and he's like, no, don't worry, we're gonna talk about this later. Yeah, like those crackheads are, you know,
they're fucking done. Oh my god, it's meant to do. Okay.
But the way he's just so cool in the scene, like he never raises his voice, never does anything, and like I said, it's such
He's
like
he's just beaten. He doesn't care. He's like, I can't believe I have to fucking do this.
But just once it like, I think what sells it for me on that whole scene is at the end, he's like, you just realize it was business, bro.
Yeah, he tries to joke with him. He's like, oh, put this towel in your head. You're going to get blood on my floor.
Yeah, but the way he says it, this is just business, bro.
I see. All right, I was gonna throw my scene. I think I enjoy. I don't think I can win with this. We'll probably go with the scene with the Mexican gang there. But I was gonna, when Denzel's explaining how the game is played scene. It has highs, lows, and just basically you.
So is this the one after the Roger?
This is after the yes. This is exactly. This is after Roger.
When they're sitting in the car.
Yep, they're sitting in the car, and he goes from start to finish. It has highs, lows. Thank you for playing footsies. So it has highs, lows, and you really see how Denzel portrays himself as an actor. I think this is at that point they're like, this dude's the best actor.
And he tries to relate, like that one thing where when Hoyt is talking back and Denzel's like, I was just like you.
Probably. Like,
yeah, he's trying to do whatever he can to, I don't know if it's like buttering him up. I don't know if that's the right phrase for it, but he's trying to relate with him in any way.
Yes, they're trying to build that rapport and trying to get him onto his side in a sense, saying, listen, I'm giving you all these opportunities. I just put a hit out for you. You're going to die in like within the next hour.
I think he basically says also, he's like, I know you don't like it, but just put up with it for 18 months. He's like, it's kind of implied. I don't remember the exact words he says,
like,
but
suck
he's like,
it up,
if you don't like it,
and
he's
you
like,
have the career
and he's
of your
like,
life.
you might not like it, but you have to change it from within. So maybe you can change it from within also. And I mean, you know, he says that, and the whole time it's bullshit because, like you already said, he's already made the phone call where he's going to die. So
Yep. Yeah, he knows it's gonna happen. Like that's why I felt like, because Denzel, he's amazing, and you see his actual range from there.
Yeah, especially thinking just to cut in real quick.
Go ahead.
You see, Denzel's basically, if you want to talk about like turning it up to 11, he's loud the entire movie. That's probably in that scene the quietest he is the entire time. He's trying to relate to Hoyt any way he can. I mean, part of it's probably out of necessity. He can't have Hoyt talking out of line because he can't fuck up the whole deal that he had.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's definitely shows, like you said, there's range where a lot of the movies is out of control cop / gangster doing whatever he wants. This is the one point where he at least tries to appear human to him and try to explain it to him.
He does it a couple times where he tries to have like a heart-to-heart sort of with him, like you said,
when he pulls over on the highway the one time.
Like when he's going,
like
he's not yelling, but he's talking stern. But it's more like that.
This
like,
is the way it works.
I'm the superior, and you got to listen to it. But then at the same time, like he's trying to make it relative to him, and it just kind of like they have that interaction and like sort of, I guess, chemistry. Like whereas he's just like telling him like, you can't do it, like fucking cowboy style. Like you can't just do what you want to do. And, like, he's like, I understand. I was there. I wanted to do what you want to do, but you can't do this. And he reiterates it to him a bunch of times. Like, until you run in the game, you can't change it. So you have to suck it up. Part of me thinks like, if he just sucks it up, he would have been fine. Like if he would have just bought in from the beginning and he'd be like, all right, if I do this, it may suck. I may not like the person I become, but if I have to do this for 18 months.
So what? Broke the law.
Denzel did say that a bunch of times.
You give me 18 months, I give you a career.
He's like,
That's what he said.
He did say that a bunch of times. And, like, he was just like, there's that line of good and evil. And he's like, I can't cross that line. And,
Okay.
hey, I respect it.
Yeah,
Hey.
It's not a line in the sand. It's actual like a hard line. Okay, all right. I guess we can go with. You guys want to I'm outnumbered here. So the scene at where Hoyt's about to get killed.
For whatever reason, whenever I think of that movie, that's literally like the first scene I think of. For whatever reason, not even the last King Kong speech. I always think about the Mexican gang.
Okay, got it. All right, now moving on. Best character, Randy Watson. I'm not going to say anything. I know who I like. Kev, what do you think?
It's obviously Denzel.
Okay,
Denzel's the best character in the movie. I think we're all going to say the same thing. But going off what we said before, if you're asking me for my second favorite character in the movie,
let's go with second favorite.
He's only in the movie for like 5-10 minutes, but I'm still going with Smiley.
Smiley? Okay.
I think he's phenomenal. He's quiet but terrifying the entire time.
Yes, he's calculated.
Yeah. I mean, there's comedic things that happen every now and then. We could talk about Snoop Dogg. He's pretty funny even when he's, again, put him in the front seat. I better whoop his ass. It's still great. But I mean, it's Denzel's movie. Ethan Hawke's great in the movie too, but there's nothing that's really, I mean, he's the straight guy to Denzel's character. So he's really just there for Denzel to work off of. It's the bad people in this movie that are more interesting than Hoyt. So I would go Denzel 1, and if you're asking my second favorite, I would say Smiley.
Yeah,
So
I can totally agree with that.
There's only like 4 people in this movie. Like there's not a ton of characters in this movie. Like they introduce you to a lot of people, but they're not in the movie for a long time. Like even the rest of the crew, they're only in it for one scene.
Yeah, most of the stops that they have are like 5 minutes
so
long. So
it's really like a 2-person story, and the only ones you see a couple times are
Roger and Eva Mendes.
Roger and Eva Mendes.
Those two.
And that's it. Those are the only ones you see multiple times.
Once, yeah.
So that's really it. If you want to say anything, be like, hey,
it's a dumb point. You see Bone twice also when he first goes, but it's a small point.
But still, yeah.
So you're telling me Dr. Dre was not.
I know the worst character thing is coming.
Okay, so we can agree. Smiley.
If it's not Denzel,
no,
Smiley.
Well, I guess why Denzel won Best Actor, but you know what? Smiley, he gives it all in that scene
for his performance. For that 5 minutes, he's phenomenal.
Without a doubt, he is. Okay, so now the Adrian Balboa Award, the worst character. I can't stand Sniper.
That's fine. Yeah,
I fucking hate him. It's funny the shit pushed in, but I feel like there's acting and then there's him trying to prove a point. He's like at 140% overacting.
He's over the top. Yeah.
It's so shitty.
Part of it has to be there because I guess he has to pretend to be dumb and intimidating, but it's still not that impressive.
It doesn't feel like intimidating at a point. That's why I got Brian. What do you think you got for your guy?
Denzel's son. See.
Oh, you're an asshole. He's a fucking kid. Holy shit. Okay.
I'm messing around.
Is his name, I never get what his name is, but Eva Mendes is shriek. Is his name Aloncito? So it's like Baby Alonzo or something like that.
I don't know, but all he does.
Maybe it's probably Alonzo. She says Aloncito, but I don't know Spanish that well, so I didn't feel like looking it up because I didn't care. I guess. But,
are you okay?
Yeah, he says nothing. Yeah. I did look up to see what Alonzo was saying in Spanish to him just to see what was going on. None of it was interesting at all. So it's not even important.
I see. Okay. Is anyone else you want to nominate besides the child? Because it's just a child.
How rude. He's trying his best, Brian.
He's trying his best.
He's 6. What we just did with Zombieland. He's 12.
Worst character?
Hey, you really got anyone? All right. So we'll come back.
If you want to come back to you, like I said, Dr. Dre, I like him.
He sucks.
But he really, I like Dr. Dre. He can't act.
No,
I don't know if it's gotten. I don't know if it's gotten better for him since this movie. But even everyone else in the crew that they have has some semblance of at least pretending to act. And Dr. Dre is just talking his lines, and you can tell when he's doing it. It's oh, this is so terrible.
No, I'll say Macy Gray. I don't like her.
I kind of like her. I like her more than Dr. Dre at least. I
just don't like her.
She looks like she fits the way that she plays. I don't think her character has a name. They don't say a name for her.
No, it's just Sandman's wife.
Cap those fools.
Yeah, but I mean, she still fits in for
warrant.
But the whole when she's sitting there's you a rookie, you got to get liquored up to do your business. She's still at least intimidating enough to piss off a rookie cop, I guess.
I know, but I just don't like her.
She knows. Yeah, I never liked Macy Gray.
I only know that one song by her anyway, so
I hated her in Spider-Man 2.
She was in Spider-Man 2.
I think it was Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2.
Okay, I don't remember who she was in that movie. That's the Dr.
She plays herself.
Right?
She's singing.
She was in Spider-Man, the first one. I'm sorry, she was in the first Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2
Oh, yeah, it's
was
when
with
the Green
Doc Ock
Goblin
as a
comes
Green
and he
Goblin.
throws,
Anyway,
uh,
all right,
well,
we're getting off
whatever, yeah,
track.
we're getting off
She
track,
sucked.
sorry, yeah.
So, okay, we have 3 nominees.
All right, so I'm going Dr. Dre. That's
I'm going
still-
Sniper, and Brian's going Macy Gray, Sandman's wife.
No, Brian is going with a little 10-year-old.
The little 10-year-old boy. Yes,
He's-
right. 10-year-old. He's like 6.
I have no idea how old.
So he's probably like 5.5. You know what? He's probably even like probably my daughter's age, probably like 4.5, something like that. So okay, so we have 3.
Maybe
nominees.
C is the only word he knows.
Yeah, maybe. No, he spoke something for like that. He's like my
He
favorite
says
hiding spot.
mama, something like
Yeah,
that. When he
the
first comes out,
closet is
the
my
closet.
favorite
Oh,
hiding
that's right,
spot.
yeah, the closet.
Okay.
And then when Hoyt's holding him, I think he says, "I'm scared," also, or something like that. Oh no, I want my mommy. That's what he
Yes.
says.
Okay. All right. We'll figure it out. You know what? I'm gonna try to put a poll out on this and what people may think. This time I'm actually gonna try because I usually say that. As best as I can, I'm gonna try. I want to take a break, but you know what? We're doing pretty well. Let's go with behind the scenes since we finished all the awards. So for me, I got
getting another beer.
Okay, so Brian's getting another beer. I'm gonna go hit up with the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So
No, I'm okay.
this was actually a television series based on the film, produced by Jerry Bruckheimer. Was announced in August 2015 and premiered in February 2nd, 2017 on CBS, but was canceled after 1 season.
So, do you know why it was canceled?
I don't have the notes for that, but I know it was canceled because.
Do you know who played Alonzo's character? I did look into this.
I didn't go too far. Actually, I saw it, but I didn't go too far. But I know it was actually
Bill Paxton.
It was a prequel.
It was a white cop.
Yes, it was. It was Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton.
I thought
It might have been canceled anyway, but he died that year also.
Yes, because
after
he
they
had
were done shooting.
Yes.
So I don't know if that's the. It might have been canceled anyway, or it might have. Maybe it was going to be canceled anyway. But they had a reversal. I don't remember who the black actor was who was supposed to play Hoyt's role, or the equivalent of Hoyt's role. But Bill Paxton was the superior officer in the television show, the series.
Interesting.
Now, again, I
Yes.
heard it didn't do well, and it might not have been renewed anyway.
That's
But he
probably why
did
the fact
die.
it
He
did well.
did die the next year, and that basically scrapped whatever they were doing. I think so.
Bill Paxton was that Twister. Fantastic.
Yes.
So-
and I believe, if I remember right, he's the only person to be
True
killed
Lies.
by a Terminator, a Predator, and an alien. If I
Yes,
remember
that's
right.
correct. He
Yeah,
was.
that's right.
I see. Okay. All right. We're getting off topic. Going a little way too far down the rabbit hole. All right. So, although corruption in LA's crash, CRASH is an acronym for something, and unit had yet to be exposed when Training Day was written, Antoine Fuqua was stated that the emergence of the rampant scandal in the late 90s catalyzed the completion of the film. Denzel Washington also grew a beard in order to emulate the appearance of Rafael Perez, an LAPD narcotics officer involved in multiple scandals. So Fuqua also wanted the director wanted Training Day to look as authentic as possible, and he shot on location in some of the most infamous neighborhoods of Los Angeles. He obtained permission to shoot in the Imperial Courts housing project. That's where that scene was
That's the
basically the final
jungle,
scene.
yeah,
Yep. Okay, so the first LA street gangs had allowed film crew to be brought into that neighborhood. The crew also filmed in Hoover Block and Baldwin Village. Parts of it's lost there. It says parts of the film were shot on a dead-end street called Palmer Drive, where the Black Peach Stones Blood Gangs members were seen on the rooftops. Clay Shaheed Sloan,
The guy who plays Bone. Yep.
Yep, the gang technical advisor of Training Day, managed to get on screen real-life gang members from Rollin' 60 Crips, PJ Watts Crips, and BP Stones. It's a blood set, which is interesting because Bloods and Crips hate each other. So
No, keep going. Sorry.
I know you want to jump in. Relax there, Kev, all right? According to the director, the actors and crew ended up receiving a warm welcome from local residents. When he was unable to shoot a scene directly on location, he recreated locations on sets. Eminem and Tobey Maguire were considered for a role of Jake Hoyt. And that's what I got for behind the scenes. I know. All right, Kev, come on. What you got?
Now, the only I just want to talk about the guy who plays Bone, because
Yes.
he was someone who was in the blood, served time in jail, and when he was in jail, he actually researched the history of gang warfare in LA between the Crips and Bloods. And the point of why he was trying to do that was because he actually wanted to try to end or at least diminish gang warfare in LA as much as possible. There was a documentary
Very nice.
that came out years later that I can't remember the name of offhand. I should have looked it up. The only reason why I know that is when I was in graduate school, they actually showed the documentary for my African American history class that I was taking, or African American literature class, I'm sorry. And I saw him, and when I saw him, I was like, oh, it's the guy who plays Bone in Training Day. And because I'm an idiot like that.
And everyone's like, what are you talking about? It's like, I'm sorry. Continue
I
on,
mean,
Professor.
So I mean, he was a gang member, and he was one of the people that actually helped them get permission to shoot in that location, because when Hoyt says, he's like, how come you can go in here? It's like, I heard to never come in here unless you have like a cavalry or something like whatever he says.
Yeah, backup.
That was a legit like huge gang area that no one was allowed in. But like you said, that was the first time any film crew was allowed in that area to actually shoot there. The only other thing is when you mentioned Tobey Maguire and Eminem, I would not believe for 1 second that either of them could fight Denzel Washington at the end of the movie. So I do have one more when you said that. I do know one more casting that actually was mentioned for this movie. There was two. You mentioned two for Hoyt.
Yep.
There were two for Denzel's role also. One was Bruce Willis.
Yes, I saw that.
And the other one I saw was actually... I don't believe either of them either. First off, Bruce Willis is white, in case you haven't noticed. There's literally no chance he lives in the jungle then. I'm sorry. I don't buy
that movie has to change.
They have to move where he lives or something like that. The other one I saw was Samuel L. Jackson was considered for it. You saw that too? And the same thing, not that Hoyt couldn't fight him. The problem is I can't see Samuel L. Jackson as like a fighter at all. He can talk like Denzel does. He can come up with those
without a doubt. He can talk,
but I don't know if he can back it up the same way. Even with like Jules in Pulp Fiction with the gun,
I was about to ask.
I don't see him. But I don't see him like physically fighting at the end like Denzel does.
He's not physical like where Denzel like Denzel has like proven movies like where he's been a badass like physically like.
Still
prior
is.
to this, like
Equalizer.
After this,
the Hurricane was after this, I guess, right? I think so. I honestly don't know.
I can't remember, but there's just glory. You're fucking straight badass, you know, like.
Even something like it was
got game. Like even though like
it was a dumb movie before this. There was Virtuosity where you see Denzel without a shirt on. He's still pretty jacked.
That's not a dumb movie.
No,
I only said that because I like that movie. But it's still pretty
it's a guilty pleasure.
Him and Russell Crowe.
Yeah,
there we go.
But like
brought it back.
It was just.
Is that going to crack the top 3 for the Denzel month? Probably.
But like
you never know.
He's like the character like. I like Samuel L. Jackson. I think he could deliver.
He can deliver
the lines. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, but is it believable with everything that
I can see him popping out of the car, shooting the 2 guns at the same time?
I could see it. Yeah,
but I just can't buy him physically imposing.
Yeah, exactly. I don't see it. Maybe if it's against like Eminem or Tobey Maguire,
if they have one.
Originally,
yeah.
So like
2 non-fighters.
I think Eminem would look fantastic, stoned out of his mind on PCP in the car with the hoodie on.
But my whole thing is like. And not to say Eminem doesn't have acting chops, because he actually did very well in 8 Mile.
I think,
but
that's
more.
I think 8 Mile was after, but I don't
8 Mile was after, but that's why he didn't do the movie. But like, the movie's also like 8 Mile is like based on his life, so it's a lot easier to do that than play this role where he's never acted before. Like, you're playing in a, in a music video, but that's not like really.
I looked it up. 8 Mile is literally the next year. It's 2002. Yeah. So it was close, but this would have been his first.
Yeah, I think he was actually getting ready to film for 8 Mile.
Yeah, I think that's why
he declined. So Eminem would probably be like, he can't play like the shy how Ethan Hawke is. He's a rookie. He's shy, trying to figure what's going on. Then he just like, fuck this. I'm the good guy. This guy is bad. So this is what I stand for.
Depends on that first scene. The only reason why we kind of know Ethan Hawke's character is because of the first scene with the wife early in the morning. And just looking at Eminem, I feel like it's a very different scene with the wife in the morning. I don't know how you believe that Hoyt is somewhat wholesome from that first scene, and I don't think Eminem necessarily sells it the same way.
No, especially with Eminem's image at that time too.
Yeah.
Like especially like listen, that's
my bum is on his lips.
It's 2000, so this is
that's the Marshall Mathers one, which is where he's talking about killing his wife. Yeah. So like that's kind of tough to believe. So like you're gonna have him try to be wholesome.
Album. It's before not Encore. What's the Eminem show? But anyway. That's the third album.
So Eminem actually goes with Hoyt.
It's after the Marshall Mathers
and he actually becomes a crooked cop with Hoyt if Eminem's there. Okay, all right.
Eminem 100% takes the cash out of Rock's
Okay, yeah, we're a little too crazy now. So anything else we have for BTS? Anyone else want to jump in? I think that's it. Let's try to move it on. All right, so we'll take a quick break, probably get another beer run. We'll see how it's going, and we'll come back. You okay, kid? That was a man-sized hit you took, dog. When's the last time you smoked weed? All right, guys. We're back. in the final run right there at the end, the finish line of this podcast of Training Day. So, our famous question here on Reels, Booze, and Bros. Can The Rock make this movie better?
No.
No from Brian. Kev?
He absolutely can make this movie better.
Okay.
Jay, this is just for you. I thought about this.
All right.
You 100%. This is 2001. This is right when we have The Rock in the WWE. What would be more intimidating than getting rid of Sniper and putting Rock in his role?
I'm in. I'm fucking in. At first I said no, but you know what?
He's only in the movie for 5 minutes anyway. He's probably more intimidating than the guy that plays Sniper. So there you go.
Yes, you have him right there. It just jacked up. He raises.
What would be more intimidating than The Rock looking you dead in the eye and saying, "You ever have your shit pushed in?"
And then he raises the people's.
I've got my shit pushed in
and raises
big time
with the people's eyebrow at the same time. Fucking sold. Fucking sold. Thank you.
He could definitely. Does he make the movie better? No, but if you want to make Sniper's role better,
hands down. And then I would. He would,
that's
he
one
would,
way you could.
Yeah, that's it. I agree with that. Nice. I like that addition. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Okay. Now, should there be a sequel, franchise, TV series? As we know with little BTS, there was something that happened. For me, I can't see it. Like, they tried. It's interesting, but there's so many cop shows with the corrupt cops. Like, there was The Shield, The Wire.
Yeah.
You can't beat The Wire in a cop show.
There is a prequel in the works for this.
Was there?
Yeah, it's still in the works right now. It's going to be about Alonzo when he was first coming up in the police force.
Okay,
apparently.
yes. I remember reading about that. So.
Besides from that, this could probably be like, you could make a TV series out of it like they did with Training Day. Obviously made a TV series out of it. You could go more into like what other things they're up to. I don't know how much it adds to the movie. Though, so I don't know if it's necessary. I don't know if it's necessary. I think you
could make a series out of it before Hoyt. So, like, you have to do it with Alonzo and his crew and how stuff goes down, and then, like, you're going to finish it off by making a movie because, obviously, Alonzo
Can we pay for Dr. Dre's acting classes? Or,
but I'm just saying, like, you could see how the crew comes, how he gets that crew together.
Or even how he first meets Roger and how that whole goes.
How he knows Smiley, how he knows these guys, and, like...
How he's first making his connections.
And who the fuck is the Sandman?
Yeah. Like, so, like, nice. I could see...
He in county. He ain't here no more.
I could see it. I could see it that way. I think that's the only way it works as a series. So, because obviously, like, you can't do anything. Yeah. Alonzo's dead, so, I don't think he survived.
I don't know. I didn't see a body. Oh, no, actually, never mind. They do the speech at the end, and L.A. Narcotics officers found dead near LAX.
Yeah, I don't think he survived the 70 bullets that went through him,
They got medicine out there. He's fine. Patch him up.
Yeah.
Okay, very nice. Okay. So... Not so much. Yes, possibly. There's some ideas that are going on there. I don't want to do it. All right. So, final thoughts. Brian, what do you think final thoughts on this?
For me, like I said, I think this movie's very good. Denzel I think this is one of his best performances, and the fact that he wins, like, Best Oscar, like, Best Actor was, well deserved. Like, just because his range in this movie where he goes from, like, he's always so calculated, and he's just like he's 2-3 steps ahead of everybody, and he's like, let me throw you at this, boom, and he just knows everything, and he was just so commanding on screen. His presence, you're just like, you felt his character, like, and like he even says it himself, like he's like, this was like his favorite character play, and it fucking shows because he truly looked like he embodied this guy. And, like, whatever this guy said, like, people were going to be like, all right, fucking, we're going to do it. You fucking hate this guy, but I got to do it. Like, he was just so good. And then to see Ethan Hawke's level go up throughout the movie, like he said, maybe it's just because, as at that day, he seems like a dumb rookie because it's his first time on it. But, like, when he's throughout the movie, he just gets better. And he's like, I don't know if he can hang with Denzel, and the next thing you know, it's like, oh, he's fucking going toe-to-toe with Denzel, and then it's just like, you throw that scene in with the Mexicans and Smiley, and he was just so cool, and he's like, bro, just business. Like,
yeah.
Like, I like this movie a lot, and it's something that, like, if it's on, I'll watch it, like, especially, like, if I know it's, like, within the last hour, you'd be like, bro, all the best stuff is coming up, and you kind of got to watch till the end, So I think it's a really good movie. I think it's Denzel's 2 or 3 best performances of his career, and that's saying a lot because this guy's fucking awesome. So, you know, he's just great, and he carries this whole movie.
He does, without a doubt. Denzel Washington is the main attraction of this movie. Kev, your thoughts?
So if you say Denzel Washington, this is literally the first movie I think of. Like, I know he's been in a lot of great movies. He's had a lot of great roles. Like, even outside of, like, the more fun movies like The Equalizer, Man on Fire, Remember the Titans, things like that. We mentioned Virtuosity earlier also.
Glory. Come on.
Glory, too. Supporting, one for supporting actor. I think every kid in middle school had to watch that movie probably when they learned about Civil War. But this is the first movie I think of. And it's weird because he's had great performances and great roles, and there's a difference. I mean, his best performance, it's very recent, but I think the best acting he does is in a movie called Fences. It came out, I think, 3 years ago. But if you talk about roles, he's been Malcolm X. He was in The Hurricane. He was in Remember the Titans. You can think of all these movies where he was in Philadelphia. Flight also. But this is the role that I think of when I think of Denzel Washington. Just an unbelievable performance. He's really good in this. This is the first thing I think of when I think of Denzel. And it's an amazing movie. Again, he might be better in other movies that are more like critically acclaimed, I guess. We talked briefly about Oscars before. This didn't get nominated for anything other than the 2 acting awards for Denzel and for Ethan Hawke. He's been in other things that have been more critically acclaimed, but I still think of this first when I think of Denzel. He's really good in this movie, and I would still say that even though it's just, you think about like a crooked cop, there's plenty of movies about corrupt police officers.
Yeah, for sure.
And would you say that's a better role than playing Malcolm X or anything else? I would still say the way he plays it, I still think it's the best character he plays, the best performance. Sorry, the best role that he has in any film that he has. So that's what I think of when I think of this.
Exactly. I can't agree with you guys anymore. The fact that this is probably Denzel Washington is the first one of the top 3 movies I go to. He phenomenal actor. He carries his entire movie. Everything he does, everything he says, it's straight just gold. That's why he won best actor, without a doubt. The highs and lows that he puts on this movie. And Brian, I agree with you. The last hour, once it goes into the movie, you're like, you have to watch it.
Yeah.
I know there's
it's
a build up.
It's because King Kong ain't got shit on me.
So, continue on with that. Denzel, phenomenal. And I can't say anything better about this movie. We're going to continue on now with the actor trilogy. So the next movie will be, again, with Denzel Washington. And we're going to go with Man on Fire. This, I never saw it. I don't know how to explain when I saw this movie. The fact it's a sleeper movie for Denzel Washington. He had so many going on. I didn't realize how good Man on Fire is. That's just my opinion. I'm going to delve more into it. So get ready for that one. If you haven't watched Training Day after this episode, watch it and you can realize what's going on. Get ready for Man on Fire. Watch that.
Yeah, and watch Man on Fire.
Who would listen to this not knowing Training Day? None of this makes any sense. What are these guys talking about?
So, and that's it. We're going to wrap it up. If you guys, once again, reelsboozebros.com. Check us out there. You can find everything we need to do there, and especially for the beers that we drank. And then we had a second beer on this afternoon, the Dying Horse India Pale Ale. We'll go a little further in depth on the website there and let you know how it is and our thoughts of how we like the beer for the booze for the night and anything else. That's that. Once again, guys, thanks for listening. Cheers.